So this is our kangaroo loin here. This is how it's come from the butcher. Kangaroo is incredibly lean, so you can't overcook this. You've got to serve it rare, medium rare kind of max. So all we're going to do is simply season it with some salt and a little bit of wattle seed. But we're just going to season this really simply and get it on a really hot grill, cook it rare, slice it up and get ready to go. But before we do that, I'm actually going to try something that I had in a restaurant in Melbourne years ago. So I'm actually going to make a little kangaroo tartare. Tartare is obviously raw. I think this meat works really well because it's so lean. So all we're going to do is dice this kangaroo really fine. Kind of this size. You just want a bit of texture. You really don't want any of that silver skin in this type of preparation. Then we'll just cut up some little accoutrement, do a little raw egg yolk in there as well, and just serve it on some crackers. Now, because it's so lean, it dries out really quickly, so it's not great for stews and things like that. All right, I found some things in the fridge. I got some pickled onions, a little bit of fermented hot sauce. There's a video around about that, and some cornichons, and then a hen's egg. I'm gonna take 2 of those, dice them up. Some pickled onions, got a little bit of curly parsley, just a little bit of hot sauce, nothing crazy, a little bit of salt. The salt's got a bit of pepperberry in it, and some lemon myrtle, a little bit of wattle seed, because why not. And then we'll just dress it with a little bit of olive oil, make sure all those flavors are married together. And then the classic raw egg yolk, always season the yolk. And the classic garnish of some chips. And there we go. Now this might be a bit confronting for a lot of people, including Mitchell, but this is delicious. Raw egg yolk is also pretty controversial. Some people can't get their head around it. As long as you're careful with it and it's nice and fresh, it shouldn't be an issue. But if you're worried, just leave it out and use some mayonnaise. Oh, it's good. You know, like a steak tartare, very similar texture. If anything, it's like not quite as strong as like really strong steak. Super lean, texture's great, nice and clean tasting, good dish. Who loves it? All right, let's cook these steaks. All right, simple mushroom sauce. Swiss brown mushrooms, a shallot, some garlic, beef stock, and some cream. All right, we'll dice the shallot. Same with the garlic, nice and fine. Could just put this through a garlic press or a mincer. And the Swiss browns, bottoms off, each half into 3. All right, let's get this mushroom sauce cooking, and then we'll season our steaks and start cooking that. So in a pan on a high heat, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of butter. Don't let the olive oil burn. Get your shallot in there, pinch of salt. Don't let your shallots burn either. Garlic in, just for a couple of seconds before we put the mushrooms in. Now make sure you keep your mushrooms moving, just so your garlic and shallots don't burn. Also, don't be tempted to add more fat here. Mushrooms are like sponges. They basically soak up all that fat. So just keep them moving and get a little bit of color on them. Now deglaze the pan with a little bit of booze. You will optionally, you can just use a bit of stock here. Once all the liquid from the booze has dissolved, 500 mils of beef stock. We're gonna let that cook down and reduce by at least half before we add a little bit of cream just to finish. All right, to cook the steaks, we want a high temp oil, grapeseed, avocado, something like that. Just a light coating on the outside. My grill outside's on maximum temperature and it has been for like half an hour. We're gonna season this with salt. This has got the pepperberry in it, an Australian native pepper, and some lemon myrtle, but just plain salt will also work fine. Both sides. And then the wattle seed. Now, if you can get your hands on this, I really recommend it. It works really well with Kangaroo. If you can't, like I was saying, you just find any other rub that you enjoy. Let's go grill some roux. All right, so my barbie's been on for like half an hour, like I was saying, and it's ripping hot. These won't take long. They're also at room temperature. So we're only gonna cook these for like 2 or 3 minutes on each side. We just wanna get good color, but like I was saying, we still want it nice and rare in the middle. If we overcook these, they will be dry and not great. All right, I'm gonna pull these at like 45 degrees in the center. It seems pretty low, but I really don't wanna overcook these and I wanna rest them for quite a while. All right, steaks are cooked. We're gonna rest these. We're gonna rest them well. I always bang on about this. It's super important. Make sure you rest your meat, especially when you're cooking stuff rare. Let's finish our chips, finish our sauce, and plate up. So chips ready to go in, temperature up to high. We're off to the races. This is what we're looking for, golden brown and crispy. Take them out in a bowl. Season with salt immediately. Time to finish our sauce. Now it doesn't look like there's much sauce in there, but what that is really concentrated jus. So all we're going to do is let that down with a bit of cream. This is optional as well. If you don't want to put the cream in, then just leave it out and just have the meat sauce. We're just going to chiffonade some parsley and finish our sauce with it. All right, time to plate. We're going to carve our roux. If you've rested it for ages and it's a little bit cold, just flash it on the grill if you need to. Some beautiful chips, a little bit of salad, and we'll finish it with our sauce. And there you have it, what I think should probably be the Australian national dish. The classic steak, chip and salad, but with a kangaroo loin. It's easy to cook, it's super delicious, and it's actually really readily available. Let's have a taste. It's delicious. It's a little bit gamier than beef, but it's not super strong. The chips are crunchy, the sauce is tasty. How more could you want? Thanks for watching, legends. Chuck me a like if you took something from this video, and we'll see you next week for another recipe. Peace.